every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
You come and support us in this medical clinic in Karen, in the well. We are in the first floor. And you just test us. Sisters of Mercy are known for quality because they are all over the world, and especially our care for the sick. It is hard times because of the coronavirus, but we know we will give the best quality.
We just want to welcome all of you to come to our gynae clinic. It runs every Tuesday from 9 to midday. We have the full gynae specialty, all located in one room, one roof. We have a very comprehensive lab. We have ultrasound services, and most of all, we have caring staff who are going to take care of all your needs. So once again, welcome and karibu to this great medical center of ours.
Capuchin TV, kitambulisho Katoliki.
What time did you sleep yesterday night? And of course, what time did you wake up this morning? Can you count how many hours of sleep you had between yesterday and this morning? Probably that's your way of sleeping, your pattern of sleeping. Is it too short or too long? Today, we'll be looking at sleep and your health. My name is Joseph Segujobi, Reverend Father, and welcome to Catholic Broadcasting Ministry Capuchin Television and today's special program taking care of your psycho-spiritual well-being. Again, as you're watching us, just begin to send to your friends and relatives to also watch this program, especially this topic on sleep. And of course, if you have not subscribed yet to Catholic Broadcasting Ministry Capuchin Television, please do so right now and share with your friend. So sleep, everyone sleeps. In fact, nature sometimes sleeps. When I mean nature sleep, not that everything sleeps at one time, but while some beings are at sleep, some are at work. Whilst those who are at work are at sleep, those who are asleep are at work. And that keeps our life going. But there's a reason why God actually made us sleep. And of course, there is a reason why we all sleep. Even the cells in our body, sometimes, or even our nerves do sleep. Even plants sleep. Animals sleep. Everyone sleep. Sleep, sleep, sleep. So what is sleep? Of course, we know that sleep is natural, and is this natural reoccurring state of mind and body, which is characterized most especially by altered consciousness, in which case you leave the level of consciousness to unconsciousness. You don't even know what is happening to you when you're sleeping. And of course, our sensory activities are inhibited. There's a reduced muscle activities. And of course, we have a inhibition of nearly all voluntary muscles. And guess what? We lose interaction with our environment. You are just there, sometimes like a log of wood. But guess what? That's not it. A lot of things are still going on within you, even when you think you are sleeping. Why some dream, some may find themselves somewhere, I don't even know. So sleep is very essential for us, of course, and it's essential for our functioning because our body and our mind needs it. They need to recharge. Leaving you refreshed and of course alert when you wake up. But I know sometimes you still feel so tired. Have you experienced that before? Do you know what happened? Well, sometimes maybe it's just your body that is sleeping, but your mind is still very busy, still working around. But when both body and sleep, and of course the both body and your mind they are asleep, of course you wake up refreshed and you become alert. So we actually want to talk about sleep in terms of how it affects our health, most especially whether your sleeping pattern is healthy or not healthy. And of course, we know that healthy sleep also helps the body to remain healthy and of course to stave off diseases. That's why we sleep, so that your body can repair itself, your body can regenerate, take care of those things that are worn out during the day, so that you actually grow. That's why you don't see your hair grow, you don't see a lot of things happen. But during the sleep, all these things take place, because without enough sleep, the brain also cannot even function well. So you need to sleep, to cool down. Your brain activity, not that it's actually shut down, but it's actually taking care of different things that your body do not have time to take care of during the day. And of course, we know that there are many biological processes, happening during the sleep. Like I just mentioned, your brain stores new information and get rid of toxic waste in your body. And that's why sometimes by the time you wake up, you know what happened? Your bladder is so full. Because they are trying to remove a lot of things. Sometimes some of us sweat when we are sleeping is to get rid of the toxic waste from your system. Of course, our nerves communication also, which support our healthy brain functioning, also begin to actually take place when we sleep. Like I mentioned earlier, so your body repairs all the cells, restore your energy, and release the molecules like hormones and proteins that take care of you. Again, think about the question I asked at the beginning. What time did you sleep yesterday? What time did you sleep this morning? Did you wake up this morning? And of course, did you wake up tired, refreshed, worn out? You didn't want to get up of bed? What happened? And that is because there are number of hours that you are that is required that an individual sleep is different by age. Take for instance, for a newborn, a newborn between the 0 to 3 months, they are required to sleep up to 14 to 17 hours a day. That is why you see the baby always sleeping, and they tell you the whole day to sleep, and at night they wake up and then they didn't get the mother and the father sometimes to sleep. And for a child or infant between 4 months and 12 months, they need to sleep up to 12 to 16 hours a day. 12 to 16 hours a day. And so when you see your children sleeping too much, or the infants sleeping too much, don't be worried about that. That is the way, because you remember, their body is still adjusting to the system in this world. They have been used to the womb. Now they are out, they need to adjust. So they take a lot of time sleeping for the cells to actually work, and a lot of brain functioning and brain development and the muscle development. A lot of things are taking place during that time. And for a toddler, which is between the 1 and 2 years, they will need up to, between 11 and 14 hours of sleep per day. For a preschool, that is a child between 3 to 5 years, they will need between 10 to 13 hours to sleep. And that's why when you take your child for daycare, you know, daycare always have a sleeping bed or mat, because most of the time the children are still sleeping anyway. They put them to sleep. It's also aiding their development, you know, and they're keeping them healthy. Even after eating different kind of junks on the floor and whatever, the body tried to take care of those things to put them where they needed to be put, and to excrete some of them that needed to be excreted. And of course, for the school age between 6 and 12 years, they will need between 9 and 12 hours of sleep. And for a teenager, will need between 8 to 10 hours of sleep. Unfortunately, many of our teenagers today don't sleep. They are busy throughout the day. At night, when they get back to they're supposed to sleep, they are busy with their phones, watching movie and all kind of things, chatting with their friends. So they actually not sleeping. Many of them, you get them sleeping around 4 or 5 a.m. and they have to get up by 6, 7 or 8 to get back to school. So they're actually depriving themselves of a lot of things. And I know some parents even watch their children stay awake till around midnight. You don't let them sleep yet. You want to wake them up early. You are doing them disservice. You are not helping them, keeping them, letting them be awake that time. So they will need up to 8 to 10 hours. And for adults, from about 18 to even 60, 64, you will need up to 7 to 9 hours. 7 to 9 hours, but more appropriately, at least 7 hours of sleep per day. Again, what is your sleeping pattern? What time did you sleep yesterday? What time did you wake up this morning? So when you don't sleep enough, you know, maybe suffering from short sleeper syndrome. That's what it's called, SSS, short sleeper syndrome. And this actually happens for those who really wish to sleep, but they don't sleep. You know, they keep their eyes open and they are watching the ceiling, rolling left and right on the bed. They can't sleep until probably around 2, 3, they sleep off. By 5, they are awake again. Some people have that kind of things. For some, it's genetical anyway. But for some, it's actually a big problem, because sometimes when you don't even get time to sleep, instead of just leaving your body to rest like that, you want to engage yourself to say that I need to do something. So you may be suffering from what they call short sleeper syndrome. So this is the condition that is characterized by sleeping for fewer than 6 hours. So when you sleep fewer than 6 hours each night, then you may be suffering from that. And of course, like I said earlier, an adult needs at least 7 hours of rest every day. So before we go on break, I quickly need to let us know the factors that is responsible for not getting enough sleep. I just mentioned the issue of genetics, because it can actually run in some families, in some people. And studies have shown that there are people who have who suffer from what they call narcolepsy, which is a kind of a neurological disorder, neurological disorder of sleep regulation that affects the control of sleep and wakefulness. Of course, we know those who do night shift work, may be suffering from that, because most of the time they needed to keep awake during the night, because that's when they work. And of course, some people that are on medication, the medication can make you to lack sleep. We know they can, drugs like antidepressant, like blood pressure medication, and of course, some of these over-the-counter medicines can also impair your sleep period, especially if you are not inducing yourself with that. Like some students that want to write exam, they have to take caffeinated drinks, or like coffee, caffeine, whatever it is, to stay awake. I'm not talking about that, but there are some medications that can make you deprive you of your sleep. And of course, when you are growing older, about half of all adults over the age of 65 have some kind of sleep disorder, because they are getting older also. So we are talking about where genetically your sleep, you can begin to have a short sleep problem. And of course, when you have a night shift work, that can also affect you. When you're on certain medications, like we mentioned, like antidepressant, like blood pressure medications, that can also affect your sleep. And of course, when you are growing old, the more you do that, that can happen. Also, when you have what's kind of physical disturbances and some other issues, even when you have a psychiatric disorder, when you have also what we call environmental issue, whether it is too bright or your partner snores, you get awake and the mosquitoes, that disturbs me a lot. They are making yawn in your ears. They wake you up and they can mess up your night. Anyway, there are many other factors that can affect sleep, that it becomes very short, but we're saying that all these have impact on our health. So when we come back, we continue from there. So for now, stay tuned.
Capuchin TV, kitambulisho Katoliki.
Kitubio au upatanisho. Sakramenti ya kitubio ndiyo sakramenti ya kuondolea watu dhambi walizotenda baada ya ubatizo. Sakramenti ya kitubio pia huitwa sakramenti ya upatanisho, ipo katika fungu la sakramenti za uponyaji. Kuna sakramenti mbili za uponyaji, kitubio na mpako mtakatifu wa wagonjwa. Dhumuni haswa la sakramenti ya uponyaji ni kuzirejeshea uhai roho zetu pale zinapougua kwa kutenda dhambi. Yesu ndiye tabibu mkuu wa roho zetu, naye yu tayari kututibu kila tunapougua.
Kupata kitubio kama skiza tuni yako, tuma neno skiza likifuatwa na nambari 738100273 kwa 811. Capuchin TV, kitambulisho Katoliki.
Welcome back to Catholic Broadcasting Ministry, Capuchin Television, and to this program, taking care of your psycho-spiritual well-being. My name once again is Joyce Pius Egojobi, Reverend Father. And of course, we have been talking about sleep today, and I've asked you what time did you sleep yesterday, and what time did you wake up this morning? Do you consider yourself having a kind of disorder we call short sleeper syndrome, when you actually sleep less than 6 hours a day? Of course, sometimes we count all the naps in between, as part of the hours of sleep. And we have said that when you begin to have this short sleep, you are doing disservice to yourself, because your body, as an adult, for example, 18 years and older, needs at least 7 hours a day to sleep. And if you are the younger you are, the more sleep you actually need. And of course, for our children today, that are so much distracted with a lot of technology or gadgets, video games, chatting, doing a lot of things, sometimes things that are not actually adding value to their lives. They're actually doing the service to themselves, because the body needs to repair itself. You need to actually regenerate some new cells, and of course, take care of the toxics in your body. So when you are not doing that, you are not allowing your body to take enough sleep, that's a problem. And I would say it may not be something that you're doing to yourself deliberately, because genetically you can also be in that situation, that it runs in your family, that you begin to suffer from what they call narcolepsy, which is a neurological disorder of sleep regulation that affects your control of sleep and awakeness. And of course, you talk about maybe when you work at night, the doctors, nurses, and even night guides, people that actually do major things at night, the people at the construction sites, they could begin to suffer from that too. Medication can make you feel that way. Aging is another thing. When you have some kind of physical disturbances like pain, from arthritis, headache, and other fibromyalgia kind of a situation, then those things can also keep you awake. When you have sleep apnea, and you are taking you are having medical issues like sleep apnea, that can also be an issue. When you have psychiatric disorders like anxiety, depression, PTSD, they also can also contribute to all these things. And of course, there are environmental factors like when it's too bright, like I said earlier, or when your husband or your wife snores. And again, when mosquitoes begin to make their noises, they can actually give you those situations. And we know that there is what we call short-term or acute insomnia. And insomnia in this case can be caused by life stresses, such as your job loss, or changes in your lifestyle, death of a loved one, moving from one location to the other. Those things can create a kind of a situation for you. And of course, noise in the environment can, especially when you live in some environment in Lagos. I remember, to take you to really adjust yourself to sleep, because a lot of generators making noise throughout the night. So that can cause you, or maybe you live close to the road, and all these 16-wheelers and trailers begin to pass over the night. They can actually cause you sleep. You can also have what we call long-term, or what we call chronic insomnia, that can, at least when have you ever experienced a situation where for 3 good nights you are unable to sleep? 3 good nights you are unable to sleep. Or sometimes it can last for some months, that you see that your sleeping pattern is just so crazy. That can also be called by, maybe you are suffering from depression without knowing it, or you are going through some kind of chronic stress or pain or discomfort due to all these factors that I mentioned before. So when you don't sleep well, a lot of things you put yourself at a risk of a lot of medical problems, even psychological problems. Not getting enough sleep is associated, we know, with an increased risk for a number of chronic diseases and conditions. It can actually make you to be diabetic. You can begin to suffer from what we call cardiovascular diseases. Stroke is very, 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 attached. Of course, when your diabetes is there and then you're having heart problems, of course, stroke is also close. You can begin to gain weight unnecessarily because your body is not resting enough to actually digest and use the body, to take care of your body seriously. You can have psychological issues like depression. And of course, not getting enough sleep also can contribute to motor vehicle crashes, because when you don't sleep well and you are behind the wheel, you can just slip off, and then of course you can have other machine-related injuries, causing disability to you, and we know that is happening. So while sleeping enough is good, guess what? When sleeping disrupts normal functioning, there is a problem. I repeat, when sleeping enough is good. You can imagine, maybe some people have, maybe you are even listening to me today, have also experienced that. When I say, why is it that I sleep too much? I sleep too much. Some say, I'm in class, I'm sleeping. I'm in church, I'm sleeping. Before any small thing, I'm sleeping. Why am I sleeping too much? And guess what? They have tried different things to make sure that they stay awake Why some people are trying to sleep, not to be awake, some people are struggling, that their sleeping is too much. Well, I always say to those who sleep too much, it's a blessing, because it's a blessing for you to sleep, to be able to catch sleep anytime you want. But guess what? When sleeping too much begins to affect your normal functioning, I tell you, what does that mean to say your normal functioning? Is that if I'm at a meeting, I am not supposed to sleep at a meeting, and at the meeting I'm sleeping, even already snoring, then there's a problem. It means it's affecting my normal functioning. Or maybe I'm in the church, I'm supposed to be praying or listening to the homily, and I sleep off. That's a problem. If I'm driving and I'm sleeping, there's a problem. So when that sleeping too much, which is supposed to be a good thing, is affecting your normal functioning, then it becomes a problem. This is not the same as oversleeping, when you actually sleep longer than usual or than intended, maybe due to the fact that you slept late and you wake up also late. So again, when it's affecting you, it becomes a problem. So too much sleep on a regular basis can increase also the risk of diabetes. Can also increase the risk of heart disease, of stroke, of death, as many studies have shown. So too much is defined as greater than 9 hours. If you can sleep for 9 hours, and I bet you I've had friends who actually say to themselves they want to sleep, and they sleep from 6 p.m. and they wake up like 10 a.m. the following day. Oh my God, I can't even do that. But you see, the most common cause of is like not getting enough sleep the other night before. When you deprive your sleep at night or previously, your body may want to make up again, that can make you to sleep to sleep longer than before. That should be normal. But when this one becomes something constantly and is affecting your functionality, then there's a problem with that. So the most common cause of excessive sleeping are sleep deprivation and disorders like sleep apnea or insomnia. So depression and other psychiatric problems, of course, the issue of other medications and the medical conditions, like we talk about apnea, can affect your brain and body, and they can cause you what we call daytime drowsiness as well. So regular sleeping for longer than 8 hours can shorten your life expectancy. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me, somebody? When you are sleeping longer than 8 hours as an adult, even your life can be shorter. It's supposed to be something good, but guess what? Because you are still doing yourself this service. So like I said again, have you also ever experienced not being able to move or speak when you're about to fall asleep or when you are waking up? And it's like something is getting hold of you. We call it sleep paralysis. You want to shout, you can't shout, you can't speak, you can't move. It's like some things are pressing you down. But this actually occurs, it's natural, but it occurs more in people who have narcolepsy, sleep apnea, or sometimes, guess what, spiritually, some people believe that you can be attacked spiritually to experience that. But guess what, it is actually natural, and all of us, at one time or the other, we may come to experience that. So this episode usually involves not being able to speak or move while falling asleep or upon waking. And it can actually last for about 1 or 2 minutes. And it can be frightening. You think the whole world is collapsing. What is happening to me? However, when you're having problem with sleep, don't ignore it. Feeling drained of energy after having more than adequate sleep could be a sign of health conditions. Maybe you are anemic, which is a defect in your blood. And of course, maybe you have a thyroid problem. Maybe you have sleep apnea. Maybe you have insomnia. Of course, what you need to do to get this done is just that: watch yourself. Keep a sleep journal. When you sleep, when you wake up between sleep and other things. And if it's giving you concern, don't stop from seeing your doctor for better advice. So sleep when you can, and please don't do disservice to yourself by keeping awake unnecessarily. If you have any questions, you can send us on the YouTube, and of course you can send it to 073-913-7728. 073-913-7728. My name remains Joseph Piles Egujobi, Reverend Father, and of course I'm a psychologist. So talk to you next time. See you next week, same time, Thursday, 2:30 to 3. Have a nice day.